I am asked, an entirely different name springs to mind. Eric Kandel. Well, actually, Opa springs to mind, but they are one and the same person. Opa has the uncanny ability to hold his own in a conversation about any topic, ranging from science to wine to politics to art, although I can't really say that he's an expert about baseball. This film and the book that it was inspired by just further exemplify his diverse talents. In 2000, my grandfather won the Nobel Prize in neurobiology, and as a Nobel laureate, he was asked to submit a biography of himself to the Swedes. He submitted a meager 20 pages, but with the encouragement of his friends and family, he expanded into 528 pages, creating, in search of memory, the emergence of a new science of mind. His autobiography has now been translated into multiple languages and has been awarded an award from the LA Times and received a Pulitzer Prize nomination. Opa has continued to expand his repertoire of experience and expertise, sailing past his 80th birthday with continued enthusiasm and endurance. While most his age are enjoying their retirement in Boca Raton, honing their golf skills and spending time with family, Opa is still off traveling the world and giving speeches. He is working on another book about science and art, is collaborating with my grandmother on a research project on the stages of drug abuse, has a hit TV show at Charlie Rose, and has made the leap to the silver screen. Opa is also a movie star. In 2006, my family went on a roots tour of France and Vienna to see where my grandparents grew up. In France, we saw the apartment building in which my grandmother lived, the convent in which she was hidden to protect her from the Nazis, as well as the subterranean tunnel which she was supposed to use in case of emergency. Vienna brought us to many historic sites, which include the plaque which now stands where the synagogue that my grandfather belonged to as a boy once stood, his parents' toy store, and their apartment. German film director Petra Seeger came with us for parts of this trip. Within this film, Petra captured all that makes Opa Opa: his charm, humor, intelligence, an ever-present bow tie, and his ability to break down complex scientific concepts into layman's terms. Petra seamlessly weaves together Opa's life as a child, his move to the United States, a country in which he knew very few people and didn't know the language, and his career. But before we get started with the movie, I'd like to share a story. The day that my grandfather found out that he won the Nobel Prize, it was 11:30 in the morning in Sweden, 5:30 U.S. time, but the Swedes wanted to call him anyway just to warn him that to inform him that he had won the Nobel Prize just before the press got to him. And my grandmother, who you'll see they have quite the entertaining relationship in the film, it also translates to real life, told him that he was not allowed to call anyone because it was too early. But he went into the other room and called my dad, who is also a very early riser, and told him the great news. But at 5:45, when the phone rings in my house, unless it's a snow day, it means bad news. And it was October, so it was not a snow day, so of course my parents were terrified. But when they found out the good news, they too were excited. But at 6:15, my dad then waited for a better time and called my grandparents to check in, which is something he does on a regular basis. And my grandmother was so excited, Daddy won the Nobel Prize, keeps going, and then all of a sudden she stops and says, "Wait a minute, you knew already," and starts to yell at my grandfather. So even Nobel laureates get in trouble. Enjoy the film.